Hello, thank you very much for watching this video. In this short video, I will try to explain to you what happens to your money when you take out a loan. So we can actually make up a table to see, of course, when you borrow money, you make monthly payments, and you want to really know where those monthly payments are going to, because of course, whomever you borrow from, they are going to charge you interest. So you should try and make a cell or a sheet the same as this one is. So amount borrowed, which is the amount that you're taking out or borrowing from the bank or car dealership or credit union. It's also called principal. Periods, that's the number of periods you will be making payments, and that's something that you decide with the person, the lender, the person you're borrowing from. Interest rates, that's usually set by the organization, and then your monthly payments will be calculated by Excel. So what's this table called? It's called amortization table. I'm going to just put that here. I'm going to highlight a few of these cells, does not matter how many. I'm going to merge them. So I'm going to go to this icon and press merge cells, and then right here I can write in the title. And there it is. You can center it, you can put it more to the bottom or to the top, you can left-sided, right-sided, whatever you wish. I'm going to center it and put it right in the middle. Maybe I'll increase the font and Control B to make it bold. There we go. So here is the table. We are doing this table because oftentimes when you borrow money, let's say you borrowed $10,000, that was the amount that I borrowed for my first car, you kind of think that whatever monthly payments you're making, they're going towards this amount that you owe. So you think, if your payments are $500 a month, every month this amount that you borrowed is decreasing by about $500. You'll be shocked or maybe unpleasantly surprised, because some of the money that you borrow, that you pay back every month, is going towards interest. And how much interest is it? Is it $10 a month, $20 a month? Is it even the same amount every month? Think about that and pause this video and maybe write it down. How much interest do you think you're paying on a $10,000 loan? And is the amount of interest that you pay every month the same, $10, $20, or does it change? Think about it, write it down, and this video will actually help us explain it. So I wanted to pay off my very first car in 4 years. So for periods in cell C2, I'm going to write an equal sign, and then it's 4 years. But of course, I'm not making payments once a year. The lender usually wants you to do it every month. So I'm going to multiply that by 12 and press enter. So it's going to be 48 paying periods for myself. Interest rate, the lender was really nice. They told me it's going to be 6% per year. So of course that's equal to 6%. So in cell C3, I'm going to write equals 0.06, that's percentage. But of course that gets applied per year. So I need to apply it every month. I'll divide that by 12. And there we go. I'm paying this much. Of course, if I multiply it by 100, I can figure out what the percentage is. It's 0.05% per month. That's pretty all right. Doesn't seem so bad. So how much are the monthly payments? We'll let Excel calculate this for us. So Excel has actually really nice little function. We'll write equals, and then I'll write PMT. That stands for payment. And right here, it'll tell you what this is going to calculate. Payment of a loan based on constant payments and a constant interest rate. I'm going to start a bracket, round bracket, and now Excel tells me exactly what numbers they want me to put in order to figure things out. So, payment, rate first. What's my interest rate? Well, that's in cell C3, right? So I'm going to write equals C3, comma, NPER, that's number of periods. Well, that's 48. It's in cell C2. So I'm going to use cells instead of actual values. PV is present value. So presently, I owe $10,000 to the company. So it's going to be negative C1. I'm borrowing $10,000, so right now I have negative $10,000 to my name. Comma after this, FV is future value. Well, I plan to pay off this loan, so the future value will be 0, and then I'm going to close things off. I don't have to write anything for types. And then I'm going to press enter, and there we go. My monthly payments are $234.85. So let's now dive in and see where these monthly payments are going. So we're going to do a couple of months, and then I'll show you something super cool that Excel can do for you. So month number 1, the beginning. What's the beginning balance? Well, it's in cell C1, $10,000. So I'll write in equals C1. 1. Now this balance, I never want it to change. So if I don't want Excel to pick up any patterns with this balance, I don't want it to add or subtract, I want it to stay C1. Actually, forget that I said anything. That is going to change because every month this balance is hopefully going to go down. I'm hopefully not going to owe $10,000 every month. Okay, this is what's going to stay the same because my payments are not changing from month 1 to month 48. This is the one thing that's staying the same. It's $234.85, which is in cell C4. And the cool thing about Excel is that if you don't want something to change for a duration of the calculation, you can press or insert a $sign, which is shift 4, in between the number and the letter of the particular cell. So I'm going to put $C, $4, and that'll always stay 234. I'm saying that because we're actually telling Excel to make a pattern, and in the column C, we actually don't want that to change based on anything else. Interest. Okay, how much interest are we paying? That's going to be in cell D7. So that's going to be equal to, well, it's going to be equal to the amount that we owe, which is in cell B7, right? The company, the lender, is definitely wanting to charge interest because we owe the entire $10,000. They're going to charge interest on $10,000. How much? Well, we're going to multiply that by the interest they're charging us. And we determined that in cell C3. Excellent. Okay, so that's good. Principal, that's in column E. So how much of the actual amount that we borrowed have we paid off? Well, we started off with $10,000, which is in cell B7. That's our beginning amount. And then we're going to subtract, sorry, not B7. Principal is the amount of our monthly payment that is going to paying off the balance. So what was our monthly payment? Well, that's C7, so equals C7. Take away the interest you just paid, which is in B7, and there we go, $184.85 of my $234 payment went to the principal. So how much do I still owe to the lender? Well, that's going to be equal to the amount that I borrowed from them, which is B7, my beginning balance. Take away the principal, E7. Remember, the interest that I'm paying is not paying off your loan. It's only basically that's the cost of borrowing. You're paying $50 in month number 1 to your lender. So they really want you to borrow money. All right, let's see what happens in month number 2. So month 2, what is the beginning balance? Well, it's the ending balance of the previous month. So that's going to be in cell F8. So it's going to be equal to F8. There we go. Or sorry, maybe I made a mistake. F7. So it's equal to F7. There we go. That's $9,815. What's my payment? Again, the payment is in cell C4. So I'm going to write equal C4. But again, remember, I do want to write in $C, $4, because I don't want that to change. Interest. How much interest am I paying off this month? Well, it's going to be on the amount that I owe, which is in cell B8. So equals B8 times the interest rate that I'm being charged, which I have written in cell C3. Now, this is important. So this month I'm going to pay $49.08. However, the interest, because I am going to do a pattern soon, C3 cell, I don't ever want to change that. I always want the C3 to be my interest rate. So I'm going to put a $sign in front of C, a $sign in front of 3, so I know that Excel is going to keep that interest rate in cell C3 constant for all the other rows that I do. Principal. Okay, so how much have I paid off this month? So that's going to be equal to cell C8, because that's what my monthly payment is. Take away the interest, which is in cell D8, $185 this month. Not bad. What's my ending balance? Again, it's not $234 less. It's $185 less. I owed $9,800, which is in cell B8. Take away what I just paid towards my principal. In cell E8, I owe $9,629. All right, so we've got 48 periods, and the good thing is you don't have to do this 48 times. After you've done it for month 2, you have in fact calculated or written in the instructions to Excel. So we don't put in dollar numbers, we put in cell values and told Excel what to do. If we highlight that entire row, so row 2, and use the drag pointer in the lower right corner Excel is now going to do the exact same calculation in every row based on the pattern that it has just created. So it knows the pattern. So let's see, we said 48 periods. Okay, I'm on the 45th period. So I need 3 more. 1, 2, 3, there we go. The ending balance should be 0, and it is. That last column is my ending balance. So I owe $0 after 48 months. Fantastic. Okay, so now the next part is, again, this table here tells you how much interest out of that $234 that you're paying each month, how much of it is going to interest, which starts off really high and then it decreases, and how much of it is going to your principal, which is the amount that you borrowed, the $10,000 that we started with. So let us go ahead. So the interest is in column D. I asked you how much interest do you think you paid. We started paying interest in cell D7, and we're continuing to pay interest all the way to D54. So let's add it all up. So let's go to cell D55, put in an equal sign and sum. So that's easy. Start the bracket. We started with D7, semicolon, D54, and that should highlight all of the cells that we want to add. And yep, we've got it there, and then you press enter. So we have paid $1,272 in interest. I'm going to write an interest paid is actually quite high. $1,200 out of the $10,000 is actually interest. So, you know, the company told me, the lender told me they're going to charge me 6% interest. Let's actually see percent of borrowed, percent of loan. So the loan was $10,000. And let me just spell percent correct. So the loan was $10,000. Total interest that I paid is $1,200. Is that actually 6%? Some of you may not like how this loan is sticking out. What we could do is we could either press this button here, which wraps the text, or we could just extend the column so that it's longer. And there we go. We can center it, press that as well. So percent of loan, and that's going to put in the next column here. So how would I calculate that? Well, the percent of it is the interest that I've paid, so that's going to be equal to the interest that I paid, which is in cell D55, divided by the total amount of the loan, which is $10,000. And which cell is that in? Let me actually just put that in a cell. That was in cell C1. So it's D55 divided by C1. D55 divided by C1. Oh, it gives me a dollar sign here, but I want it to be a percent, so I'm going to press a percent here. Hopefully you caught that. So up here, the view of the number could be like just a dollar value, but it's not. This is a percentage. Usually it would just be custom or general, just a number, no specific format. But if you want to do a percent, because Excel can actually do that right away, so 13%. So yikes. So, imagine that. So the company told me that I'm paying 6% interest, but because of that compound interest idea, it's actually different every month, and it's a lot more than 6%. It's more than double. We can in fact expand this number to be more precise. It's not, may not be exactly 13%. Let's go ahead and expand the decimals, and yeah, it's 12.728 or 7281%. So you can in fact tell the Excel file how